So, and it was, I married my husband out of love. I already had money. I already knew what money was. So it wasn't about, oh shit, I'm gonna marry him because shit, he got money and, nigga, shit, this is, what I'm saying, nigga, this the golden ticket and all that old type. No, it wasn't nothing about that. It was nothing about that. And even though, that was in the era when motherfuckers was car hops and, and all that old type of shit, motherfuckers, that's when the new materialistic shit first really was jumping off around in that era, you know what I'm saying? And bitches was really fucking with dudes because of what kind of cars they had, and I want me a dope dealer and all that, and Turkish rope and all this, and mermaid earrings and all that bullshit, okay? So, when I met my husband, he was a very independent man, and he felt like, I want to take care of you. So he took me in. I met him February 8th, August the 4th. We were moving in together. He was like, is your dad home? I was like, yeah. Well, I'm going to come by. I want to have a talk with your dad. And he had a talk with my dad and said, I will take care of her the rest of her life. And it still rings true. You know what I'm saying? I married well. I mean, let's just put it out there. I married well. And so, but my marriage was not always good because, see, you could watch this shit on TV and these housewives of whoop-de-whoop and all this shit right here. You don't know what them women are going through to get all that they got, to drive how they driving and do the shit that they do. You don't know. And see, some men can be very, very, very abrasive. And when a man feels as though you need him, he really gonna show his goddamn colors. He really gonna talk some shit to your ass. A lot of them have. And a lot of them do. My husband wasn't that way. My husband is a real passive, real quiet guy. I married a real, real quiet gentleman. Hold on. I got married, I weighed 343 pounds on my wedding day. I had to rent my wedding gown. It was a size 28 and a half. And, shortly after I got married, I knew that I don't know if this is going to be my end of the day. I don't know if this is going to be my forever love. Because my husband was wilding out, you know what I'm saying? My husband was wilding out. Every time he go to Shreveport, Louisiana, that's where my husband is from. Shreveport, Louisiana and shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like Southwood motherfucking high school. That's where he went. He went to Southwood High School. He used to always talk about, oh, Booker T and then Southwood and then he Captain but all these different schools and things that he used to always talk about. And so, but one thing I know for sure is that he loved me. And he didn't give a damn about how much weight I gained because he actually made me fat. When I met my husband, I was like a size 18. And I blew up in 2 years to a size 28 and a half. Isn't that something? He would buy me pizzas. He would come home from work. He would work swing shift. He would go in at 4 and get off at 12. And he would come home and wake me up with quarter pounders with cheese and shit like that. It was almost like a plot or a plan to make me heavy. But I was so in love with him, I went along with it, and I was like, nigga, this shit is good like a motherfucker, nigga. Did you bring me Junior Mints too, honey? Shit, hell yeah. I was sick with it. We didn't have any kids. We had dogs, and we had a cat. And so then later on, we had 3 cats and 1 dog. Then we had no dog and 3 cats. And then, I've always been an animal lover. I love animals. And so, so we didn't have kids. I wasn't ready for that. I wanted to enjoy my marriage, and we would travel, Hawaii, cruise trips. We'd go. Okay? And during that time, in the early 90s, niggas really like, oh my God, these niggas is on cruise trips and shit. Damn, nigga, did you win that on The Price is Right? That's how my grandma, did you win that on The Price is Right? No, grandma, I didn't win that on Price is Right, But, we were doing some real cool ass shit, but, he had a good job. And then, He had a little trust fund and shit that he would get money like quarterly from that, and you know, and stuff. So we would go and buy really, really nice things. We never really had credit cards. And so when we got married, my husband paid for the whole wedding and the reception. My parents didn't have to pay for anything, just what they wore and show up, you know. And so, you know, I really lived a full life. But after that, I knew that this was something that I knew wasn't going to be my forever thing. Later on, we began having children. After I had Anthony, I knew then that, you know, okay, I'm going to have to start planting some seeds of my own. I'm going to have to start putting some things aside for myself, because I don't know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where I'm going to be at 40. I don't know where I'm going to be at 35 and things of that nature. Things start moving really fast because 2 months after I got married February 12th, 1994. Then I had the gastric bypass April 14th, 1994. Everything I do is calculated. Okay, before I even got married, shit, I was looking through the goddamn paperwork. What kind of insurance can we get, baby? What kind do we qualify for? They have HMO or PPO. What kind, you know? I was calling around because I got my surgery through Surgilite here in California. For those of you guys that remember those commercials back in the day, Dr. Papula, he did my surgery. And before I was just a fiance, and shit, when that open season came from that October to goddamn it December and shit, nigga, I was shopping insurance before I even said I do, because I knew after I did that and now I got my cards and shit, nigga, I'm gonna go get me a pap smear at my own motherfucking doctor. I'm gonna go get my surgery and all this other shit. I had already had that in my head. I had already written it down. I had already journaled about this thing. Okay? So, when open enrollment came, they said, okay, when I called Surgilite, I said, well, which insurance do y'all take that, you know, really go through easily? Well, if you got a PPO and you get Pacific Care, guess what? Wow. Stacy, good looking out. Still to this day, me and Stacy's very, very cool. She worked for Dr. Papula for years. Even when they moved out to Torrance, she was still out there at Dr. Papula's office. And so anyway, shout out to Stacy. Damn, that threw me off, because she's still my girl to this day, y'all. I mean, we done met up at jazz festivals and all this shit, and she was my surgery coordinator back then. Okay? I don't, you know, I don't know. You know, I just have lasting friendships like that. I don't know what it is. Anyway, it was calculated then. I was like, okay, Pacific Care, okay, let me, yeah. PPO, okay, yeah. Give me that. So, Tony, get this insurance right here, babe. Get this before, you know, the enrollment season is over. So, we got the insurance. I got my surgery, and boom, okay. So, now I'm just going through all kinds of shit, because at this point in time, my husband was a homemonger. I mean, he loved women, and he loved large women. And after I got my surgery, I think it took something out of him as he began to see my weight decline. He still wanted me up there, and I was coming down. It was kind of crazy. It's like he loved me more when I was more heavier than as I began to get smaller. I don't know. It was just, I don't know. I call it a fetish. I don't know. But, you know, it is what it is back in them days. But I guess he had his own reasons. So, anyway, so when I had, let's fast forward it up, when I had got pregnant with Anthony, and, you know, I was like, you know what, I got to get my own. You know, this man has been taking care of me, you know, for what? I had Anthony in 96, so he had been taking care of me for 4 years. And I was like, okay, I need to, you know, I need to do something for me. So I went back to school. I completed my nursing degree. Shout out to Shannon, came to my motherfucking luau. That was my motherfucking neuro partner, my IV patient and friend. We still tight as motherfuckers to this day. Okay, my nursing student partner. Her name is Shannon, and oh my God, that is my girl. I love you, mama. And So back then, you know, everything that I've always did was calculated. Because, you know, when I used to talk to Shannon, I used to tell her, I said, girl, shit, I'm going. I gotta get this. I need you to help me with this math. Because here I just had Anthony. Because I had just had Anthony. All this was in 97. So I was like, well, you know, I gotta do something. I gotta do something, girl. She was like, what's wrong? What you wanna pay me for, bitch? I mean, damn, nigga. Nigga, we gotta get through this motherfucking module right here on this nutrition while you build. Girl, I'm in a panic. I'm just that way. When I get on my tangent, I'm on. And so she was like, girl, what's wrong? I said, nah, nigga, I gotta lay me down. I gotta sow me some seeds. I gotta get my shit together because me and my baby are not gonna be without. And that was my whole thing. Me and my baby are not going to be without. Anthony came, Tioni came, Button came, boom. Tony bought me this house in my 9th month of pregnancy with Tioni. So I've been in this house since 99. July 5th, 1999. I will never forget the day. Day after 4th of July, we moved in this house. I was big, wilding around and shit. And this was his gift, his ultimate gift to me, because we were still living in an apartment. And actually, we had moved to these little condos, and we were staying in these condos. And we had Anthony, and I was pregnant with Tioni, and we had a 2-bedroom. Seemed like, you know how you have a bird right there that ain't coming up. Okay. And so, anyway, so I had a big. There you go. Excuse me, y'all. Yeah. There it is. Okay. You know, we don't poot, we toot, and we don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't belch and shit like that. I just find it to be just not really ladylike, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be modest with certain things. Anyway. So I had a big stickler about my son and my daughter sharing rooms. And so I was like, we gotta get us a 3-bedroom apartment, babe. We gotta find us a 3-bedroom. Anthony and Tiana, they can't share the same room, and yada yada yada. And so he was like, you know, okay, don't worry about it. You know, don't worry about it. We'll be fine. And he would always say, we'll be fine. Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. Everything will be all right. Stop stressing. Stop worrying. Lay down. Go to sleep. You know, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And I was like, but damn, we pay $495 right now, and if we get another place now, we're gonna be in a bigger place. Now it's gonna cost us more money. I've always been money conscious. I guess it's just a Virgo in me. We were paying $495 at the time. So Tony was like, "Well, I tell you what. Why don't you find you a realtor? You kicking it all day, you and Mom. Y'all find a realtor, find a house, find whatever you like, whatever's comfortable for you." And then had the people call me, and then we'll do the paperwork. That's the way I got this house. My parents lived less than a mile from me. And so, you know, me and my mom, we would go yard selling on weekends and stuff. And in this house, and I had seen it, and I was like, oh, that's a cute house. I said, I see the potential in that house, Mom. And I would come, and I would drive in this driveway, and I just park, and I just look. I'd be like, wow, this is cute. It's not a big old place. I mean, it's not no house on the hill, or, you know, it's not, you know, all that. But, I mean, it's home. You know, it has a huge backyard. Look at the potential of that. And, you know, all those things that I was on. Lo and behold, 15 years later, I'm still in this house. And now when I sit in my backyard now, and I look at all of the progression that throughout the years of this house. You know, I've been remodeling this house since 2009. You know, so that was I started renovating back then. And I had added on to my room, and I had built Tioni's room onto the house. And I had took Tioni's old room and then made that a dining room, had the wall knocked out, an extra room. I did that in 2009, before I came on here, okay? So this is not foreign to me. Thus the reason I'm so familiar with power tools and things of that nature. I like shit like that, you know. So I'm well versed, okay. So anyway, So we moved in and all that stuff, and wow, now house payments, you know. Okay, so you know, Tony was like, well, then you just pay the child care. So I went to work as a nurse, and I simply paid for the child care. And I put my kids in the best of child care stuff. You know, I was paying in excess of like over $1,000 a month on child care because here I had Anthony, you know, we would still supplement his, the words they would pick him up from kindergarten and then take him there, and then Tiana was there and Button was a baby, and you know, so there was times when I was paying a lot on childcare. My kids went to tutor time back in the day. I don't know if tutor time is still operable, but tutor time and kinder care is, they were like kind of neck and neck at the time. Then there was this Montessori that my mom had looked into in Loma Linda. So anyway, so my kids were always in school. Okay, and that was just a big thing. Okay, they, you know, especially my daughter. You know, my daughter has to be, you know, she really got to get this math, because that's always been my nemesis. And I'm like, if I could ever just get math. And so I said, oh, so after I had my daughter, I said, she is not going to be riddled with math. That is not going to be her nemesis of hers. And with me, just like with this camera and so many things, when it gets so hard for me, I just let it go. I just act like it no longer exists. I just leave that shit alone. Nigga, I'm going to table that till whenever. It might be indefinite. I can't wrap my head around that. It's too much for me to bear, and it just turns me off, and I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm cool on Canon right now, because Canon is too complex for me. Okay? So, bottom line is this, ladies. Bottom line is this. Your circumstances of today are just temporary, but you got to get it in your mindset. If you already know that this is not your end of the day, and this is not who you plan on living your forever after with, then therefore you have to start sowing seeds for a harvest for later on. You know what I'm saying? See, like now, see, at first I was sowing seeds for, you know, okay, in 2 years, in 3 years, and this, you know, and I had this game plan down. I was like, okay, I gotta go get me a Washington Mutual account. Washington Mutual was the first account that I got away from my marital account, you know, because, you know, I had my account with my husband. That was like everything. How can you get an account away from your husband? You're supposed to be one. Y'all supposed to share everything. You're not supposed to have no secrets. I was all that, baby. Let me tell you something. I was a Stormy O. Martin reader. Power of the praying wife. Power of praying together. What the power of praying together. The power of the praying parent. Enough life for the step I'm on, or what is that, a Yellow Van Zandt? Because I read that too. I was a reader. I'm a nonfiction reader. Okay.